and welcome to this impromptu episode of the Kinetic Couch, because I was going to do a live on on Instagram, but Instagram has decided that I don't have enough followers for that privilege anymore, so that was nice. But I had done the question box. I'm going to answer it here instead. This is all questions about my Get Kinetic membership, which is for anybody who struggles with their energy, has regular pain, whether that is from a autoimmune condition or whether it is like chronic back pain from that. It could be from an injury, it could be from any other reasons. But if you have up and down energy levels, limited mobility, and struggle with pain daily or regularly, then this is something for you. So these are some questions that I got asked on Instagram. I do also have a podcast which is fully about the program, which I will link in the show notes. And I also will link the info pack actually in the show notes as well, and the application form. So let's start. Foods to avoid when you have fibromyalgia. So firstly, I would say rather than focus on what to avoid, focus on what to include. So I always come at this at everything from a positive perspective. So rather than what can't you have, what can you have? What's going to help you feel better? So you want to think about fueling yourself to build up your energy levels, so we can start the energy creates energy cycle, where the more you do, the more energy you have, which obviously has a top point. You can't just keep using energy. You do have to rest sometimes. But that's what we want to try and increase, because often when we struggle with fatigue, we feel like we need to rest. But if we can just get over that first hurdle and do a little bit of movement, and I'm not talking get up and do a HIIT session, it could be just get up and do 5 minutes of movement around the house. It could be doing 5 minutes of exercise. There's different options. So within Get Kinetic, there are different options anyway, but it's more about helping you to see that doing that little bit of movement is going to be helpful. And we also have a lot of limiting beliefs and confirmation bias when it comes to our pain. As an example, if you have chronic back pain and you are sat down and your pain feels better, and then you go to get up and it hurts your back, you confirm to yourself that the best thing for you to do is rest. But actually, it's just because you've got yourself into a position where it's comfortable. To get to the next comfortable position, you might have to move through an uncomfortable position, but that is the best thing to do in a controlled way, of course. So focusing on what to include from a food perspective, we want to look at predominantly whole foods. So again, nothing is off limits, but you want the majority of your diet to be coming from fresh fruits and veggies, to be lean sources of protein. And even if you're vegetarian, that is still doable. We still have that focus. We want the fiber and the nutrients coming from like your fruits and veggies. We want some protein coming from some lean sources, whether they be meat, fish, vegetarian sources. We want to include some carbohydrates, because again, much to the social media influencers' annoyance, carbohydrates actually aren't bad for you. But we want the carbohydrates to be more of a whole food source than to be a takeaway pizza, for example. So yeah, it's more about what we want to include rather than what we want to avoid when it comes to your food. Anything else on food? We want to stay hydrated. We want to be routine. We want to do some meal prep, because that is going to save you time and energy. And we have resources for all of this in Get Kinetic. So this is covered in a question in a minute, so I'll leave that there. I'm going to go to that question next. So the next question was, is there a diet plan included? So what you have, so a meal plan, I don't do specific meal plans in the sense of eat this, then this, then this, because following a plan rather than understanding and learning how to make a plan that works for you are two very different things. And because Get Kinetic is group coaching, that it wouldn't be tailored for you. So what I do is that I have some sample days of eating, which might total, let's say, 1,200 calories. Now, if you need to be on, say, 1,400 calories to lose weight, then you might want to add in a treat, or you might want to increase the portion sizes of what is on there. So it's about helping you to see, how can I eat within this frame, this guide of calories, to hit these targets for protein and fiber while still enjoying my food and keeping it simple. So they're ideas to follow. It's not this is what you eat every day. My one-to-one clients do have all of that, but adapted to them. So I always ask my one-to-ones, like, send me a list of what you do and don't like to eat. What you know, I find out how they kind of eat now and try and keep it as similar as possible to make it simple. Meal prep gets easier the more you do it, and it does save you so much time and energy, because what people underestimate is the energy drain of mental energy, of things like decisions and planning. And think about how much food you eat in a day or a week and how much decision making and planning goes into those. Where if you can automate that in a batch, when you do have some energy, then on the days where you don't, it's still really simple to meet your targets and to eat well in a way that's going to fuel you better than reaching for some rubbish that you can just open a bag. You know, like if you're, for example, having a day where you really don't feel you can get up and you can reach for a bag of crisps to go into, but if you could also reach for a fruit pot that you'd already prepared, much easier. Things like having frozen fruits and veggies in make your life much easier. Meal prepping in a way where you're almost filling your freezer with ready meals, but you've made them, so you know what's in them. They meet your targets and your preferences. So yeah, there is no one size fits all, but I will do sample meal days that follow a structure that you can then adapt to suit you and your goals and your preferences. Okay, next question. How much is Get Kinetic? It is £59 per month. I do currently have a founder members offer, so depending when you're listening to this will depend on if you can still get that offer, but you can lock in at £49 per month for life, as long as you are staying a part of the membership. So if you leave, then you want to rejoin, you couldn't rejoin at the founders offer, you would then be at the normal price. Those spaces are limited, and like I say, it depends when you're listening to this as to whether you get to take advantage or not. So you would just have to message me, and don't dilly-dally. If you are listening to this, get in touch straight away. Okay, next question. I have really bad knees. Is the program still helpful and doable? Yes, absolutely. So it's not a specifically knee-focused program. There will be elements within there that are aimed at improving your range of movement and your stability around your knees, always in. So the phases of the movement sessions and the exercise sessions will change every month, well, every 4 weeks probably. My app likes to do weekly rather than monthly. So the phases of exercise will be 4 weeks, but within each phase, there will be movement sessions aimed at each area. So yeah, I'm trying to think what else would be specific to me. So yeah, things like that. And then also thinking about from a diet perspective, if you need to lose weight, then obviously that is included within the program with the nutrition structure. And if you have weight to lose, then that will also take away some pressure on your knees as well. It does depend why you have knee pain and, you know, when it flares up and all of those kind of things, but just message me using the link in the show notes or fill in the application in the show notes, and then I will get in touch with you to make sure that it is the right program. I will always speak to everybody before they join to make sure it's the right program for them. So yeah, what are the workouts like? I get really tired, so I can't do too much. Exactly who I'm trying to help. So we have movement sessions and exercise sessions. So exercise sessions would be for when you do have energy and when you feel like you can get it done. And within those, there is flexibility of whether you to do 2 rounds or 3 rounds, whether you do 10 reps or 15 reps. And then the movement sessions are just on the low energy days so that you have something structured to follow to get you moving. As I touched on earlier, where if you're sat on the sofa in pain or with low energy, there will be something that you can still do to make you feel good that you've achieved something, to get you moving, which will feel good, which will help your joints and help in all the mental ways as well as the physical ways. So yeah, there is always something you can do, and you are also allowed a rest day where you don't do a movement or exercise session. But generally the movement sessions will be, even on a low energy day, you'll be able to do something, and I will encourage you to try and do a movement session on a day like that, just so that you can see that energy creates energy cycle starting to build up. What's next? Is the program for men or is this female only too? No, men can do Get Kinetic as well. So the bricks method is female only. that side of my business is different. That is female only, because there is a lot of focus on understanding our hormones, our mental load, and our different constraints as a requirements. Sorry, different requirements as a female versus male. With this program with Get Kinetic, it's a very different focus, and it doesn't really matter what your gender is. With this one, it is more about that you are struggling with chronic fatigue and pain, with flexibility, with mobility, with everyday tasks, needing to understand how to improve your diet without using too much energy to create yourself a nice meal, all that kind of thing. So yeah, absolutely open to either gender on that one. When does it start? Again, depends when you're listening to this podcast. The current intake is this Monday, 11th of August. After that, it will be at the beginning of every month, and then it will close until the beginning of the next month. If you want to work one-to-one with me, that isn't what's the word I'm looking for? That doesn't have the same constraint. That is different. You apply, and then we work out the best time for you to start, which is generally right away. Because once you have made that decision that you're ready to change, you're ready for some support, then the quicker we can get you in and with a plan, the better, and we can take advantage of that motivation and that readiness to change. This one is a big question, so let me make sure I haven't missed any others. That's done. Okay. What does Get Kinetic do? As in, what can I get results-wise? Well, I made a list. We will reduce your pain. We might even end your pain. That's not something I make promises on. It has happened. It doesn't happen for everybody because it depends on a huge multitude of factors. So it's not something I'll make a specific promise that, yes, I will get rid of your daily pain. Can't promise that. But I can promise I will reduce it. That I can promise. I've not had anybody that I work with say that my program doesn't work or that they didn't see improvements in their pain, in their mobility, in their flexibility, in their ability to do the daily things like getting up off the floor, like getting up and down from a chair, like taking the stairs. Always happens. Always see improvements in it. Partly because I'm very good at what I do, partly because that is the impact that regular structured movement will have for you, alongside all the other stuff that we do. What else will you get results-wise? Weight loss, if that is needed. If you don't need to lose weight, you might even need to gain weight, or you just need to keep your weight the same, but improve the quality of your diet, all of those. And if you do need to lose weight, ultimately that is going to help you with your movement and with your joint pains and with your mental health, your mindset, your perspective on things. So I'd probably say about 80%, maybe a bit more, maybe 85% of people that I work with do have a weight loss goal, but it's embedded in everything else that they want to improve. They know that that will bring them the goal they want. And what I want to do is simplify that process, keep it enjoyable, keep you still able to go out and socialize. I have a one-to-one client currently she loves eating out. Her calories are fairly low because she is quite a small person, as well as not being able to always hit massive steps like some people can do to increase their energy expenditure. So we just plan for it. She's got a daily structure of movement and exercise where she can. She's got a daily structure to follow with her food. And we talk about when she's going out, we'll look at the menus and just discuss what will be the best options for her to choose and how to structure the rest of her day around the meal. That will all become second nature. It gets easier and easier the more you do it. But to begin with, she has a lot of support on the one-to-one coaching that she's on to make sure that we can continue for her to enjoy life. That's what it's about. This is not about being restrictive. This is about enjoying your life, getting more and more out of life, and returning you to the version of you that did get to do those things and that felt in control of those things. We have structure around movement, exercise, diet, and rest to help you stay consistent. Because when you have inconsistent energy and pain levels, how do you stay consistent with everything else? It's really hard. So I will be in the WhatsApp group. I will be available to contact in there. You can tag me in the group if you need something specifically from me. You will also get help from anybody else doing the program. So consistency and structure is a huge part of what helps you to feel better, to move better, to have more energy and reduce your pain. Flexibility in your joints and in your range of movement will get better, so then your daily tasks are easier. Again, thinking back to the energy used throughout the day, if we can make those things easier that you do all the time. How many times do you get up and down from a chair in a day, or have to walk from the kitchen, or have to pick something up from the floor? If we can reduce the amount of energy required for each of those things, because for some of you, you might have to really think through how you're going to get out of the chair. How are you going to pick up that thing that you just dropped? And that is all taking mental energy. I want to make that simpler for you, and that's what we will achieve. We'll make it easier. We will make it that process takes less of your daily energy. We will work on your sleep routines and patterns. We will improve them. Better sleep, obviously better energy, better choices around food, better decision making in general around your daily choices. Accountability will improve. Start again. Accountability will help to improve those things. So you will have a weekly check-in. You will have contact via the group throughout the week, which will help you to stay focused. We have a weekly Q&A. So in your weekly check-in, there is a section where you can ask any questions. I will answer them all in the group so that everybody gets the benefit. And then we have a monthly Zoom call where we all get together and you can ask questions ahead of time. I will come to that to deliver some information, education around a theme, and then we'll have a Q&A. We'll have a little get to know everybody so that we're building a great community of people who help each other. And it's so helpful for you to see that other people have your struggles. I quite often people say, oh, this might be a stupid question. And I'm like, no, it isn't. Because if you have a question that you need an answer to, it's not a stupid question. I say things all the time that somebody else might think, well, that's really obvious, but it's not obvious to me, therefore it's not a stupid question. So the Q&As help massively with that. And then we have the monthly one for like the bigger topics. What else do we have? I've got loads of resources that will help you improve your mood, your diet, your movement, so you build a routine that works for you. We have the LSS energy management system, which helps you to keep to targets even on low energy days. I have a podcast on that, which I will link as well. I will help you to reduce overwhelm and reduce the noise in your head of, you should try this, you should try this. This is what worked for me. And just to bring together all of that with some simplicity, cut through the BS, do some myth busting for you and make it all just feel so simple. It doesn't have to be a big, massive, drastic overhaul. We need to simplify the process so that every day costs you less energy. Therefore, you have more energy for the things that you want to spend it on. And Get Kinetic is not a generic app. It is me. I'm not a team. It is me personally helping in the group. When you message me, it's me that replies. So I also suffer, I have MCAS, so mast cell activation syndrome. I go through fatigue and pain flare-ups. I get it. I can fall asleep standing up. I can sit in a room and listen to people talk and have no idea what is going on, what is being said. I don't even know. I mean, I sometimes wonder if I fell asleep because I kind of come to and I'm like, oh, I don't really know what's going on here. So I do fully understand. It's not going to be me saying, oh, you just need to listen to your body and rest when you need to. Because whilst that might be good advice for some people, what does it mean? How do you know how to listen to your body? How do you know what your body is saying? Because often we become so disconnected to our bodies because they hurt or they don't do what we want them to do or they frustrate us that we don't listen to it. We've lost sight of the cues. We don't know when we're hungry. We don't know when we're tired. So I'm going to help you to understand how to listen to your body. What does that actually mean? When is rest the best option? And we're not always right, but we can make the most educated guess by understanding how to listen to our body and how to understand what our body's cues are saying to us, basically. I think that was all the questions. Let me just have a look because technically I'm supposed to be on an Instagram live right now. So, let's just make sure that no other questions came through. There was a couple of questions about my holiday, but we're not going to answer them here. I will answer them back on Instagram where they belong. But in case you're wondering, yes, my holiday was incredible. Thank you very much. Okay, yeah, supplements. Yeah, okay. So there is not a specific supplement that is going to work for everybody. Other than the one supplement that I do recommend for most people on the Bricks method, I wouldn't recommend it for everybody on Get Kinetic, and that is creatine. The reason being that if you already have kidney problems, then creatine might not be the best option for you. If you don't, there's a chance that it is a really good option for you. But when it comes to the Bricks method and who I work with there, then I can more generically say that most people will benefit from it. When it comes to autoimmune conditions, lots of different medications, chemo, for example, comes with a lot of medications, then it's very different. So that is the only one that I blanket recommend, other than the kidney issue. Over there on the Bricks method, with Get Kinetic, I would say that a lot of supplements that you will be told you need, you don't. We can improve your diet, because the word supplement means it should be additional to your diet to help you meet deficiencies. Now, things like vitamin D, for example, helpful for most people, problematic for others. Calcium, helpful for some people, problematic. So there's no way that I can blanket recommend, but you can ask me about certain supplements within your weekly check-ins or on a Zoom call, and then I will answer it from your perspective for the issues that you deal with, any medications that you're on. I will happily look into those for you. What else is there on supplements? Maybe that's it. Also, you probably don't need electrolytes. That also is quite a common one at the moment, and collagen. You don't need to take collagen. Collagen, you'd be better taking a whey protein, which is massively researched and safe. You don't need expensive versions of whey protein either. Again, happy to chat to anyone on messages or via the application form to go into a bit more detail on those. But yeah, don't take all of the supplements. Specifically, if a supplement says it's perfect if you have fibromyalgia, it's perfect for menopause, it's perfect, you need this if you have back pain, generally they're the ones I would be like, yeah, no, you don't. Because they're just picking on things that are common, or things that are trendy, or things that their target market might have. I could rebrand most things I do and call it a menopause thing, because the symptoms associated with menopause are so huge, but then you put menopause on it and everyone goes, oh yeah, I have that. So yeah, don't be fooled by all the supplements that you allegedly need, because there's a very good chance that you don't. And that's it. I'll leave it there. Thank you for your time and listening to me, and I hope it was really helpful. And if you are thinking, yes, I need this, I do struggle with these things, I could definitely benefit from working on these, then do fill in the application form in the show notes. There is no massive tie-in. You just sign up. It's a monthly membership. As I say, if you take advantage of the founder member, then that's different. That offer is only whilst you stay in the membership. If you leave and rejoin, you can't rejoin with the offer. But other than that, you can give me notice. There is obviously a notice period, but you're not tied into like X amount of months or anything. It is a monthly membership and you are free to leave. But my plan is that I'm going to make it so valuable and helpful to you that you won't want to leave and you will want to stay and continue learning and improving. So again, thank you for your time, and all the links will be in the show notes. And I think that's all. Thank you. Bye.